talkSPORT.
The radio station which changes its underwear. Well, regularly.
So keep a window or ventilator open.
Across the UK on sweet-smelling 24-hour total protection DAB digital radio. Or alternatively,
I love you.
a squirt of Febreze down the shreddies and a breath mint.
Disgusting pig!
Oh, but I'm sorry.
On 1089 and 1053 AM. talkSPORT.
I'm Mike Allen, Daniel Strapper's with us, and we're talking numerology up until, another 15 minutes. 15 minutes okay, Dan?
I'll try my best.
Okay. Gusainon in Swansea is home port for Sharon. Hello, Sharon.
Oh, hi there.
Hello. What's your date of birth, honey?
It's the 10th of October, 1970.
Right.
1970.
1970. Okay.
Right. Anything specifically you wanted me to look at, Sharon?
Well, family, mainly, money.
Yeah, well, you're in a period of new beginnings at the moment.
Right.
So, have you been making some changes this year or trying to?
Trying to, yeah.
Yeah, well, keep pushing, because you've just about done it. You're nearly there.
Right.
If you keep pushing this month, you'll make progress with it. It's all going to fall into place by Christmas, Sharon, for sure. In fact, by the 15th of December, it will have finally fallen into place. So just keep going forward. Keep positive in your approach, and don't allow situations to try to stop you. Keep going forward, girl. It's good.
Thank you very much. Nina is in Leeds. Hang on a minute, Lena. There we are. I'm just stoking up the technology. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Nina. Sorry to keep you waiting. I know you've been there since they invented holly trees.
Dear.
Hello. Yeah. What's your date of birth, Nina?
9th of the 7th, 24.
Right. 9th of the 7th, 1924.
Right. Anything specific you wanted me to...
Well, I'm just a bit upset about the family problems and...
Yes, it's very heavy going around you at the moment, Nina. I appreciate that. And it seems to be coming to a head, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm trying, but I try too much.
Yeah, well, you see that I think to a certain extent that other people don't realise the effort that you're making here.
That's right.
But what I can say to you, Nina, is that you can only do so much. Yeah. And if other people aren't prepared to listen or to work with you, it is their problem rather than yours. It's no good you worrying about it, Nina. Mm-hmm. Try and keep going forward with it. Keep a positive approach. And there's no reason why, come the end of the year, you can't get these things sorted out. It's heavy going, but keep going forward. And try and get them to recognise that it's you that's making the effort.
Thanks for the call, Nina. We wish you well. Daniel Strapper's here. I'll give you his office number in just a moment, so if you want to get hold of a pen or something, that'll be great. Here's Amy. She's in Bristol. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mike.
Sorry to keep you waiting such a long time.
Hello, Dan.
Hi.
Hello.
The only burden when you have to wait a long time is your ear feels like a braised lamb chop, doesn't it?
I've got the patience.
Oh, good. What's your date of birth?
17th of the 4th, 1927.
Lovely.
Right.
Okay, is there any particular question you've got for Dan?
A little bit. I'm concerned about my son in Australia. It's been a bit of a rift. My brother's health and my health. I do drive. I'm 80 and I still drive. Well, nearly 80. Do drive. A few little problems and something that the doctor said.
Well, I think the first thing I want to say here is that this has been a bit of a slow time and a bit of upsetting time emotionally for you.
Yeah.
The important thing is to try and keep cool and keep going forward with things. In terms of your health situations, I mean, I don't see this as being a disaster, but I mean, go with what the doctor tells you as far as that is concerned.
Good.
I think next year you're coming, or rather, as the autumn progresses and we get into next year, you're coming into a period, Amy, when it's going to be quite sociable, and there'll be a lot of emphasis on family type situations. So there's no reason why problems can't be sorted out over the next few months, providing that there's give and take and nobody digs their heels in too hard.
Good luck to you, Amy. Thanks for the call. You're listening to talkSPORT. I'm Mike Allen. Daniel Strapper's here. We're going to speak to Mary in just a second, who's in Cranhill in Glasgow. I'm just getting the computer to work up. There it is. Hello, Mary.
Hi there.
Thanks for waiting. I'm sorry to catch such a long time.
That's okay.
You know what it's like when the carpet fitters come round and you've got all the furniture in the room. It takes forever. What's your date of birth?
8th of the 2nd, 33.
Okay. You've got a specific question for Dan?
Just to try and help me to make up my mind about a certain thing.
Right. Well, this is not difficult, Mary. this has been a bit of a trying year for you. It's coming to a head at the moment, and it's going to clear the decks. Things are either going to go forward because other people are starting to adjust, or it's not, or it's going to come to an end. And then, if it comes to an end, then it's a matter of moving on. Next year's a year of new beginnings, and I don't see any reason why you can't get your life going again. It's tough at the moment. The next couple of weeks are tough. Try and keep cool, but afterwards, it's onwards and upwards.
There we are. All good news. Honor's in Telford. Hello, Honor.
Hello.
Hello. I've got Daniel Strappert here, and you must get people talking to you about Honor Blackman all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I met her, you know.
Have you?
I have, yes.
Mm.
And she looked at me, and I thought for a minute she was going to show me her boots. But fortunately, she didn't.
No.
So no ill became me. Have you got a date of birth for me?
Yes, the 26th of May, 1934.
Right.
Right.
Is there a specific area you'd like Dan to focus
No, just
on?
a general
service.
update forecast.
Okay.
12-3. Well, yes, where we are at the moment, it suggests that there's quite a few social opportunities around you at the moment, chances to get out and meet people. Take full advantage of these. Next year you've got a few things to sort out and to deal with on a practical basis, but providing that you are practical in your approach, there's no reason why you can't deal with the problems as and when they arise. It's a nice time for you at the moment. Try and enjoy it.
There we are. Thanks very much for the call. Christine's in Manchester. Are you revved up for Manchester, Dan?
I am.
Okay.
Ready to go.
I've got it. Do you know what? We're moving so fast, Christine, the technology's locking up around our ankles.
Oh, can't be bad.
I tell you what, we're very pleased we've got the extra talcum powder in our socks tonight.
Oh, very good.
You got a date of birth for me?
Yeah, it's not actually my date of birth. It's actually my daughter's date of birth.
Does it suit you better?
Sorry?
I was just going to say, does it suit you better?
Yes.
Yeah, so the question is on her behalf?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Give us a clue, then.
Well, her date of birth is the 24th of the 7th, 1971.
Right.
And she's had the most diabolical 3 years, and I want to know whether she's going to come out of this.
Yes. Well, she will come out of it, yes. I mean, it is, as you say, it's terribly up and down. She's struggling with everything. She's had, well, we won't go into how bad it's been. We just accept that has been bad.
Mm-hmm.
She's got some practical problems to sort out.
Yes.
And she's going to have to work at these and keep on top of the details. The emphasis for the next 12 months, Christine, is dealing with details, not allowing anything to slip. Come this time next year, she'll be through it, and then it's onwards and upwards.
Right.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping patience with us, Christine. All these people want to talk to you, Dan. There's some charismatic thing you've got going for you.
It's called numbers. I tell you, I'd be nothing without numbers, Mike.
I know we kept your numbers up late tonight.
Yeah, they're tired, they're complaining, they're all grumpy. They want to go to bed.
All right. Terry's in New Haven. He'd like you to stay and just help him out. What's your date of birth, Terry?
Harry.
Sorry?
Me, Perry.
Terry?
Harry.
Harry. Oh,
Perry, like Perry Como.
Oh, Perry. I'm
Perry,
so sorry.
Yes, my date. Well, I studied numerology a few years ago, and I was so intrigued how it did work out with the people's names, and you work out all their different letters in their names, and you work out all the numbers, and they went, wow, it all picked on.
So what's your date?
I've let it go for a long time now, so I'm interested to say to Dan, by the way, Mike, you're fantastic. My date
I'm not that good. I can't get your date of birth.
60.
Say it again. 27th.
27th of the 9th, 60.
27th of the 9th.
60.
1960. Oh dear, I had to work hard to get that. God.
I understand when I went through it. There's similar numbers to Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana that comes up with the 11s.
Right.
Right. Well, there's been some emphasis on finance and success this year, has there not?
Triumph and success.
Finance and success.
Struggle and thrive.
Yes. Well,
I'm one of 19 children, and I'm
19? That's not a family, it's an army.
Well, there could be some money around you, Perry, and you may be about to hear about it, because it's quite close at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds promising, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that next year is a very interesting time for you, because there's some emphasis on travel in some way. And you should have travelled a lot. Have you travelled much?
I have indeed, yes.
Yeah. Well, there's long-distance travel noted for next year, and I think that could prove to be very interesting and significant for you.
Thanks very much indeed, Perry. Wow, thank you so much for staying at extra time, Daniel.
You're welcome, Mike, anytime.
Let me just do this, and then I've got something to say to you. 077 961 41451. Now, that isn't, you might think, my numbered Swiss bank account. I keep the money from the deck chairs I collect every those 2 weeks every year at Broadstairs. That's Dan's office number, and he has an office in his pocket. So there you are. It's 077 961 41451. And if you were looking to Dan for some advice or something, then you could approach him on a personal basis. He'd be very happy to talk to you. Daniel, a great pleasure. I just wanted you to say, to know, rather, that the amount of people who've called to say thank you so much. I've enjoyed listening, and
good.
Can you come back next week?
Gosh, why not? Yeah, I'll try it again next week. Yes.
Okay, so I think if we're talking next week, if we're talking Tuesday falling into Wednesday morning,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Would that be all right?
Fine.
Fantastic. All right. So don't fret, don't panic. He's coming back. We've persuaded him.
Twisted me up.
Okay. Mind how you go with the deck chair money. Thanks, Dan. Wish you well.
You're welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lots of things to talk about this morning. We're going to take a short break in a moment. But I want to read this to you, and you might say to me, well, it's a London story, Mike. Hang on a minute. It might be a London story now, but this could easily get around our major cities without any trouble at all. A London council is set to offer its tenants £100,000 to quit the capital. Westminster City Council is poised to give them massive grants to anyone with a council house to leave the borough so it can free up its accommodation. They don't want them to stay in Westminster. No. Get out. Here's the money, £100,000. Go. The cash is going to be used as a deposit on a new home by the former tenants, who are to be encouraged to relocate to the Thames Gateway and other growth areas outside London. So you stop and think about it, and you can see I was not wrong here. This could be spread right across the country. People are being given this much cash to get out and go. Would you? I mean, given the chance, they said to you, here's £100,000, go. Or would you suddenly realise that it could be to your advantage to stay, because they might have to make it £150,000 to get you to go? Because obviously they're open to negotiation. Would you go if your local council gave you this option, £100,000 cheque, and made it out to you, collect? Could this sharpen up the housing shortage in certain cities? Or is it a way of disadvantaging you? I read it again, and I thought, I'm not so sure about this. Normally I get a feeling about a story when it's good. I have a feeling about that it's possibly less than good. I'd love to know your thoughts. You've got my regular number, haven't you? Because I'm just looking around thinking, have I got it? Yes, I have. It's 08704 20 20 20. 08704 20 20 20. Amongst the top stories discussed on the web today, Asda drops 2 pence off the price of a gallon of unleaded petrol. We talked last night about the price of crude oil. I wonder what's the best price for petrol or diesel near you. 08704 20 20 20. It can vary as much as 10, 12p. It's incredible. In 2004, Britons had purchased £450 million worth of foot spas. That's the thing that you heat up the water and put your feet in, and aerated, little bubbles flash around your toes. Very refreshing. It's not much fun if you're going shopping at the time, but if you're sitting down at home, it can be good. I wonder if you got one of those from 2 years ago. 450 million quid we spent on it. Where are they now? Have you still got one? One of these foot spas? Or did you just give it to somebody? Some unsuspecting Arms has got one, and she's going to use it, but she was given to her at the time before putting the plug on was compulsory at the factory. Top talking points on the web today included Women police chief or woman police chief in tube shooting blunder promoted to top job at Scotland Yard. You got something to say about that? talkSPORT 08704 20 20 20. Junk food, computer games, TV and the internet are ruining childhood. Could that be true? Isn't it better that children could go through that, eat less of the junk food and have parent time? Would they not be better off then? Or have I got it wrong? Transport all your cares away, minimise the amount they're eating. Yes, of course, there's got to be portions that are going to sustain life and feed young bones and muscles, but possibly they're eating too much. So portion control is one thing that's essential to dieting. I speak as if I know what I'm talking about. 08704 20 20 20. Britney Spears has delivered her second child. It's a boy. Yes. So my question, in the UK baby wards, they're facing the axe in latest cuts, claims the incoming health chief David Nicholson. I said to you last night, I said, we're going to have trouble here. They're closing down. They've got over a £500 million deficit. They've got to sort themselves out big time, and the only way they can do it is to close down NHS wards. Is this any time to bring a child into the world? 08704 20 20 20. So we're talking about councils bribing tenants to leave London. Here's £100,000, off you go. Could it happen in other cities? And if you are living in a corporation construction, would you hold your hand out and say, yes, impress me, hit me, big boy, give me the money? I want to speak to motorists now. I want to speak to motorists, and I want to also speak to people who run as passengers on a regular basis. Because all drivers need signposts to get to where we want to go. Of course, we need to know which way to go. But useful guidance on our roads has today been overtaken by lunatic bossiness. Consider how often this happens to you in a day. Signs have become a blight on the landscape, threats rather than aids to road safety. There are speed signs, slow signs, signs to alleged attractions which only 6 people a year visit. Warning signs and information signs, county signs, parish signs. Slow down, speed up, keep left. If every driver reads every sign that he or she passes, nobody would have an eye to spare for the road ahead. Think about that. If we're looking at the signs, we're not looking at the road ahead. It's a plague which wastes our money, and it's increasingly disfiguring our countryside. Now, some might say it's the nanny state, but others, such as drivers, might say it's too dangerous for words. If we are not to drive our cars and use a mobile phone at the same time, by what all in the name of reason are we allowed to drive and be expected to read these signs? There was, I think, about 14 months ago, a sign on the A3 coming into London on a junction, and there were in excess of 25 instructional signs on one little turning. Now, it's a madness which afflicts councils. What's at the back of it? Is it because we are turning into a society that sues each other as soon as something goes wrong? LawyersAreUs.com, whatever. Is it that that's motivating this outburst of signs? So that if somebody makes a mistake at an intersection or a right turn or whatever it might be, the council can say, well, don't blame us because we put the sign up. Is that really the motivation? I mean, all of the councils that are sticking signs up can't be doing so because they're on a backhander from the guy who makes the sign. They're doing it because they're afraid of being sued for not warning the motorist. Well, what other reason could there possibly be? I'd like you to give me a call and tell me your thoughts. It's 08704 20 20 20. 08704 20 20 20. I think I'd like a little commercial break yet now. I think I'm ready. I think I'm going to rest my laurels on my tonsils. This is talkSPORT.
On 1089 and 1053 AM and Freeview Channel 723. talkSPORT.
Great news. Tomorrow night, on this programme, we'll be hooking up with Mission Control in Texas for the space station. And we're going to be talking to space station experts and people who've been there, and we might even get 1 or 2 astronauts as well. Yeah? That'll be fun, won't it? There's more. This week, and it might be tomorrow, it might be the day after, we'll also have a guy on from Roswell in New Mexico. Now, if you know anything about UFOs or the UFO culture, you'll know the name Roswell. So we'll have a little update there. This is fun, isn't it? The reason this all started, actually, was the news this week that the 1-inch by 1.6-inch iPod Shuffle, it's 1.5 inches long and it costs 55 quid. It's the tiniest iPod yet. It's just getting to about the size of the communicators on the chests of the cosmonauts in Star Trek. Yeah, isn't it? You know, it's about that size. I just want you to know that my best efforts are at your disposal. We were talking about council flats. We were talking about the concept of Westminster City Council in London, and don't forget, this could easily be shifted to any large town stroke city in the UK, giving the tenants £100,000 to quit. Westminster's poised to give the massive grants to anyone with a council house to leave the borough so it can free up its accommodation. Joe's called the programme. Hello, Joe.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
I think it's your duty, as a percent, to put in £100,000 out.
Well, I tell you what, yeah.
For you to go down there tomorrow.
Yes.
Thamesmead, and see if you did that 100 grand. I wouldn't go down there. They'd have to put me in chains, chain me up and chain me down there. I wouldn't go down there for £20 million. I wouldn't live down there.
What about Thames Gateway?
Just stay down there. It's all down Thamesmead. Go down there and find out what you're living amongst.
So you're not impressed?
Impressed? I hope that people are listening. I really do hope they're listening and spread it about before they move down there and take 100 grand, because there's a lot of money. They'll think to themselves, God, that's a lot of dough. We'll have some of that. I'll tell you something. Hey, what do I know? I know for facts. This is not bull or anything like that. This is facts. To tell them people, it ain't worth £20 million to have to live down there amongst what you've got to live with. And that's fact.
Oh, you disappointed me. I thought it would help a lot of people. They obviously need their council property within their area. So if they can move people on and give them £100,000 each, that will give them a decent discount in terms of the property, but also a piece of real change to get established on the housing chain. Okie
dokie. If I turned around and said to you, it's £1 million. It's £1 million for you. And live the rest of your life in misery. So what do you want? Happiness or misery? What do you want?
I think I'll be happy I'll come and live next to you, Joe.
If you live next to me, you'd love it, because where I live is lovely.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's very important that you like the area you live in. I'm being serious now, because otherwise, I think if people are unhappy, I think they start to get all sorts of medical problems.
Of course they do.
You know, they're not in harmony.
Of course they do. I'm serious as well. Of course they do. Happiness, you can have as much money as you like. If you're not happy and contented, it's no good. It's no good to you at all. If you're happy and contented, be satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay,
Joe, it's a pleasure. Thanks for your call.
Thank you very much.
Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to be playing you back an interview we recorded, just a short little hello, with a woman called Irene Thompson. And it's about a book which she's put together, which is about, and she's collected this, and it's miracles that occurred. And I wonder if you've been in a situation where you've thought to yourself, I'll never get out of this. We'll never be saved. The train will surely come and run over me because I'm tied to the track. I wish people wouldn't do that. It slows the train down. But somehow or other, against all odds, you come out the other side of it, and you look back on it and think, my goodness, you know, there's some sort of help. So we'll take a short pause, and we'll have a listen, and then I'd be very interested to hear from you. Have you been involved, received, or seen a miracle? I'd love to talk to you. It's 08704 20 20 20. This is talkSPORT.
Fisherman's Blues with Keith Arthur on talkSPORT.
I love mackerel.
Whatever you're looking for on the radio.
I'm fishing fishing on a star.
Make sure it's got soul.
Play that funky music, white koi.
Fisherman's Blues with Keith Arthur.
We're all going on a salmon holiday.
The only dedicated fishing show on UK radio. Saturday and Sunday mornings from 6 on 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Prone to be
Talk Sport. 1089 and 1053 AM.
Great life.
Not just a clever name. Talk Sport. Talk Sport.
No matter how big or small, ask yourself, have you witnessed a miracle? Are we perhaps guilty of taking life for granted? We're going to meet someone in just a moment who's collected a history of contemporary miracles. Her name is Irene Thompson, and her book is called It's a Miracle. Is it possible, Irene, to put into words exactly what a miracle is?
Well, there are several definitions of a miracle. One is, the actual root of the word is Latin, and it means to wonder at. Another definition is a marvellous event attributed to a supernatural cause or a source beyond our comprehension. So I think the definition is quite variable, and probably the people's experiences would change that definition.
But I suppose there has to be one word that binds all of these variants together. Would that word be extraordinary?
Definitely. Extraordinary, meaning beyond our ordinary lives and experience. That's true.
Now, has that happened to you?
I wondered if you were going to ask me that, and I'd love to be able to say it has. But, no, not yet, but there's still time.
Your book points out extraordinary events, certainly, surrounding ordinary people. These aren't people that have been on a retreat for 3 years or have a particularly fashioned diet. And it's quite refreshing to read about people that are people-sized.
Yes, this is one thing I really wanted to get across in this book, that miracles aren't just things that you read about in the Bible. They are events that can happen to just about any of us at any stage in our lives, and clearly do happen to people. As you say, ordinary people. They're not special. They haven't been singled out for this wonderful event. It just has happened, and that's what's so exciting about miracles, because they can be experienced by anybody.
Now, every project has a starting point, a charge of motivation. What was it in this instance that got you motivated to write about miracles and call it collectively It's a Miracle?
One particular influence is, might sound a little cliche, but our world is very negative and violent at the moment. I just thought it would be good to present a book to people that was a celebration of all positive things that have happened to people, as a sort of the other side of the coin, if you like. So that was one thing I really wanted to capture in the book, and that's one of the motivations behind it. And also, I think that the occurrence of miracles is so widespread. I wanted to present a broader range of miracle experiences than is usually presented to people.
Now, my favourite is on page 251, and whilst you're turning to get to that, I was going to ask you a question. You claim to have searched the world for examples of miracles occurring to everyday people. Is there a part of the world that appears, from your research, to be miracle active?
Miracle active? Not that springs to mind. Obviously, if you take a country like America, miracles spring at every corner because it's such a vast country. Are you asking if a country is perhaps more spiritual than another?
No, not necessarily, because I perceive from reading the book that one doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual to experience a miracle.
That's very true.
And
even animals are involved.
So, is there a chance you could read page 251? It's the bottom of the page it starts.
Yes, this is a miracle I'm particularly fond of. It starts, a penniless American mum and her 2 young sons faced a grim Thanksgiving celebration in their tiny one-bedroom flat. The only food they had was 3 hot dogs that Ivy Olsen cooked for her boys. It broke her heart when they told her they were hungry as they walked back from an outing to the park. As they climbed the stairs to their flat, an old lady came out of her door and said she had cooked Thanksgiving dinner for them, and insisted they went in and joined her. Ivy was impressed that the woman seemed to know what food she liked, and even where she worked. They left carrying boxes full of leftovers, enough to feed them for a week, and a feeling of warmth and gratitude. The next day, Ivy washed the boxes she'd borrowed and went downstairs to return them to her new friend. But no one answered the door, and when she peered in through the windows, the place was totally empty. Shocked and confused, Ivy contacted the manager of the building and asked where the old lady had gone. "That flat's been vacant for weeks," he told a stunned Ivy.
Wow. There we are. It makes you catch your breath every time.
It does.
We've been talking with Irene Thompson about her book, It's a Miracle. Irene, this is such a personal book. I was going to ask you if you could just read the final section on page 257. Would you do that for us?
For most people, experiencing a miracle means discovering that there is an influence in their lives greater than their own. It may be called faith in a God or belief in an unknown power, but however it's labelled, that knowledge must explain why we cling to hope when we're in despair. We think that maybe, just maybe, something will rescue us from our crisis. How often have we heard people say,